I've got so much good stuff to talk to you about, and we're going to start off with a little personal share. So something that's been going on personally for me in my life this week, a big learning lesson that I've had around loss, rejection, breakup, missing out on something that you thought that you were going to get, all these kind of topics. So that's where we're going to start for the week. And then I'm also going to throw the doors open to any questions that come in whilst we're live. So cheers, everyone. Happy wine time. Happy Friday or Thursday. To my American friends, hi, I am Jurgar. Hey, Buddy Faye. Hey, Ella. Hey, Amy Elizabeth, I saw you pop on there. Great to see you all here live. So this week, I wanted to share with you some coping strategies for how to deal with something that you thought you'd lost. So something that loss or heartbreak or rejection, it could show up in any way, in any area of your life. So it could be a personal relationship, it could be a work colleague, it could be a friendship, it could be a job that you thought you were going to get. It could be a career advancement. It could be something going on in your business. Thanks for all the love, you guys. So if you actually let me know if you've experienced something like this. I'm guessing that you've probably experienced something like this before. I had something like this go on in my personal life this week. So I wanted to share with you what I'm doing to reclaim my power, and also what I'm doing to make sure that I don't go into any kind of downward spiral as a result of this particular event. So, and the reason I'm able to share this with you is because I'm currently standing on a huge pile of heartbreak and disappointment and loss and sadness and rejection over a lifetime, not just this instance. And it's given me an incredible perspective that allows me to share this with you now. So I'm feeling super blessed and super called to be able to give you this kind of perspective. And I hope it's going to serve you the next time you're going through something like this. So first things first that you want to remember is that you can't miss out on or lose anything that's not destined for you. So do you believe that? Are you like a big believer in destiny, and that, you know, anything that's meant for you and has been called in by your higher self and has been is in alignment with your greater good, then you will get, right? So you can't miss out on the job that isn't going to help you grow or help you step into the person that you're supposed to be. And you can't miss out on anything like that. So that's the first thing to take away, is that you can't, you know, anything that's destined for you, anything that's in your higher path will be in your life for as long as you need it there to learn the lessons that you're meant to learn. And I guess that's a big takeaway here, because we're like, oh, well, I didn't get the happy ending that I thought it was going to be. But did you get the takeaways? Did you get the lessons? Did you get the ahas that you were supposed to get in that particular situation? And I guess that brings me to my next point, is rather than looking at the things that didn't go right or wrong. So I know we as women often go, oh, well, you know, we either forward project or look back at the past. So we look back at the past and say, oh, I should have done this, or if I had said this, this would have happened, or I wish that I could have done that instead. Or we future project. So we go, oh, but you know, if you're looking at a relationship, it's like, oh, well, I thought we were going to do the marriage and the babies and all the things. So we're always living in either the present or the past. And the issue with that is that you're actually not dealing with what's going on in the now. So when you're in the now, when you're in the present, there is no pain. You're actually not in heartbreak when you're in the now. There is nothing wrong with me currently right now. But it's when you're looking at the future or the past, that's when you start going into the downward spiral that I often see women and men going into as well. So thinking about, right, so I lost my train of thought there. So thinking about what you took away from that particular experience in that moment in time, and what did you do really well. So rather than focusing on the things that you didn't do well, focus on the things that you did really well. So I'm guessing that, you know, if you're on this path, which if you're following me, you are on the path of, you know, self-awareness and personal development and all those things. What did you do in that particular situation that broke a whole bunch of patterns? Or what did you do that you would never have had the courage or the vulnerability or just the mental capacity to be able to do in the past? Or what did you do that you're really proud of, that you're like, well, hey, I didn't get the outcome that I was looking for, but I acted in this way. I acted, I was really brave. I was really vulnerable. I was very courageous. I spoke openly. I communicated from the heart. And, you know, if that's what you're taking away from something like this, like a loss or you know, something that didn't work out in your favor, then that's a big deal, right? And especially looking at the patterns that you've broken. So for me, at this point in my life, I'm just like, I just do not want to repeat the same fucking patterns that I've been repeating my whole life. Like, I am just sick of it. So in any instance where I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to break a pattern. Like, I don't care what the outcome is. I just don't want to do things the way I've always done them. And I'm not sure that they're going to turn out in my favor. All I know is that I'm going to do things differently. And that's like my mantra at the moment. I'm just like, I'm just trying new things. I don't know if it's going to work out for me, but I'm trying all the new things. So as I look back at what this situation was, I'm like really proud of myself. I'm like, you know, you did a lot of things that you have never done in your whole life. And what I know about the universe is if you act in that regard, the universe has to deliver a different outcome for you. So yes, it may not be the outcome in this situation with that person, with that job, or with that career, but it's going to be like the next thing that comes along is going to be so much better for you and so much more in alignment because you've broken those old habits and those old patterns. So think about what you've done when you're facing a situation like this, that you can be like, you know what? I broke some old patterns. I didn't, you know, I acted in a way that I never would have done, and I'm really proud of myself. So that's super, something that you definitely want to keep in mind. I'm gonna have a little, everyone's like loving that. Thanks guys. Hey JRG, hey Claire, thanks Amy. Another thing to keep in mind is like in situations like this, like I guess I've experienced the most like heartbreak and real, hey Lemaire, nice to see you babes. I guess I've experienced the most, well not the most, but I guess I've had, I thought I was going to make a statement there, but neither of those statements are true. When looking back at my businesses that have failed, where I think like, oh my God, that was so heartbreaking and, you know, huge loss, huge depression, huge, huge suffering. When I look back, I always think now, oh my gosh, I've dodged a bullet. Like, thank God I'm not running those businesses anymore. And similarly, in personal relationships, absolutely, if you date the kind of guys that I'm interested in, most of the time, in fact, every time, I look back and I go, oh my gosh, thank God I dodged a bullet. So again, it's getting back to that whole thing of nothing that is destined for your greater good will stay in your path for very long, because you're going to evolve into the person that no longer needs to learn that lesson because you learn it and then you move on, right? So, you know, when you're facing something like this, just ask yourself, you know, or when you're in a place of suffering or loss or rejection or whatever it is, think back to the last time that you were in this place and think, did I eventually come to the conclusion that I dodged a bullet? Because you're probably going to come to that conclusion again. Let me know if you're loving this. Let me go. Give me all the love. Give me all the hearts if this is good stuff. Thank you. Okay. Now, I mean, Okay. So then it's thinking about how long you're going to choose to stay in the suffering for. So yes, the moment happened that, you know, you experienced the loss or you experienced the whatever it was. So then it's up to you to choose how long you're going to stay in the next period of grief, sadness, you know, heartbreak, whatever it looks like for you. It's up to you to choose how long you're going to stay in that for. So you can then go, okay, well, I'm going to be miserable for the next 6 months, or I can, I'm not going to date for a year, or I'm never going to go for another job, or whatever it is. Or you can choose to limit that period of suffering. It's a choice. And this is the thing, like that event has happened, whatever that loss event was. What happens next is up to you. It's your choice. So you can either choose to stay in that for a day, which is what I gave myself. I'm like, cool, babe, you can go and cry for a day and then you're going to get the fuck over this. Or you can choose to stay in that for as long as you want. And it's literally up to you. So it's up to you to determine how long that period of grief is going to go for, because you can choose to reframe that, the moment right here and now, or you can choose to live in the suffering and choose suffering, or you can choose fear. Or you can choose love. It's completely up to you. So that's the other thing to keep in mind. And Lemire is saying I broke off an engagement and so grateful. That's awesome. I'm grateful that you're grateful for that. That's really good. And that's the thing, your heart always comes first, right? So like we're thinking about like, oh, I lost that, or I lost that relationship, or I lost that job. No, what you should be thinking about is your heart, and you should be afraid of losing you. You should be afraid of losing yourself. You know, your heart always comes first. And when you look at what you lost, you should be more scared about losing yourself than losing a relationship. That's preach, you guys. Give me some love. That's some good shit right there. The only person you should ever be afraid of losing is yourself. Fuck them. And And like Lumiere, I don't know what your situation was with breaking off your engagement, but you can't win battles with people who are at war with themselves. And some people are addicted to being in pain because it's more comfortable than being in love or being in the even in the unknown, right? You know, I know a lot of people have been raised with trauma, and trauma feels comfortable. Like, I mean, I know for me, like in relationships, trauma feels comfortable. Like there is certainly a mindset for me in relationships because that's how I was raised. So you know, wanting to bring yourself out of that is scary territory. Like your ego is going like, do not break out of this, you know, toxic relationship cycle, because that's what we know. That's all we've known since birth is toxic relationships. So like you can't move yourself out of that. It's scary to really want to choose to not live in a relationship like that. You guys are like, preach, don't cage the beast or change. I love it. Amen. Yes, true. Love it. Thank you guys. Yeah, some people are addicted with being in pain because it's known, right? So if you've ever been rejected, just remember that rejection has more to do with the other person's inner turmoil and has nothing or even less to do with your own value. Because this is where I see women in particular going wrong, is that they go, you know, that person rejected me, or I didn't get that job. And then they go into a downward spiral of what's wrong with me, I'm no good. And then it becomes this whole big thing. It's not just about whatever the current incident is, it becomes what every incident is. So it's not just like this person rejected me, it's like everyone's going to reject me and I'm going to be single for the rest of my life and no one's ever going to love me, and da, da, da. And we as women, and probably men, I don't know what goes on inside of a man's head, but we turn it into a thing that's so much bigger than the actual event. And so when you look at what the actual event is, oftentimes the rejection has more to do with what's going on in that own person's life. So, you know, we see women going, oh, I should have said this, or if only I was this person, or if I look like that, or if I acted like this, maybe he'd like me better. But it's got nothing to do with you. It has to do with what's going on in that person. And maybe they are addicted to being in pain because that's how they've lived. So rejection is, okay, my last two big preachy moments, and then we're going to move on to any questions that you guys want to drop in whilst we're on live. Lumiere is saying if someone is not loyal, it's best to drop them like a hot potato. Yeah, for realsies. And that's the thing. Like if there's actual, you know, if fucking don't take relationship advice from me, but like if there's actual, you know, if there's actual things that person that you cannot forgive, then exit the fuck out of there ASAP. Like get out of the door. And I know this because I've stayed in a relationship with a cheater. I figured out he was cheating like, I don't know, the first 3 months, and I stayed with him for like a year after that, and he fucking cheated on me all the time. So like if there are situations that are unforgivable and you know that it's not working out for you, get out, because what's going to happen there is your body will start deteriorating. So if you are in a situation that isn't right for you, it's harmful for you, it's impacting on your certainly physical body, but if it's impacting on your emotional well-being, on your mental health, if it's crazy making, if it's also probably the thing that I think is most damaging to a person is gaslighting. So gaslighting is where someone makes you believe that what you think is happening in the relationship is not happening in a relationship. And I've dated a couple of guys that have done this to me, and I actually think it's the cruelest thing that someone can do, because gaslighting makes you not trust your sense of self and not trust your own intuition. It makes you question your own senses, and it makes you think that what you know is true. And obviously as women, we know what's going on, right? So we know what's truth because we can feel it. And gaslighting is someone standing in front of you and going, no, that's not true. And like my cheater used to do that. I used to like catch him cheating every week and be like, I know you're fucking cheating, bro. And every week he would be like, you're a psycho bitch. And it was just like, oh my God. And that's crazy making. And so if there's anything like that, fucking abandon ship. That's what Lumiere is saying. Abandon ship. Gaslighters suck. So, and JD Drayton saying, I've been there too. When I finally realized my worth, my husband came along. Oh, that's what I feel like is about to happen to me. Like I literally just had the hugest shift in terms of, self-worth, needs, boundaries, all stuff like that, which have been a really hard thing for me to learn in this lifetime. And thanks to this what just happened, like not just what just happened, but just like thanks to a connection that was just in my life, I was able to break through a lot of those patterns. So again, you know, it's like, it's not looking at like, oh, that didn't work out. It's looking at like that and going, hey, thanks for helping me overcome these things that I've been battling with my whole life. Like, that's awesome. I love you for that. So, you know, reframing what's going on in that situation to help you have peace and to help you reclaim your power, basically. Amy saying, I was cheated on and left him immediately. Very hard. I mean, good for you. I wish I had the power. I guess I was a kid. I was like, I had the fashion label. No, I finished the fashion label. I was 26. Does that count as still being a kid? Don't know. But yeah, we were living together and he would cheat like almost every single week. And everyone fucking knew. Like, we used to like, and I only just found out, like I only found out after I broke up with him. And after I broke up with him, all of his friends that I saw 5 times a week were just like, yeah, of course we all knew. I'm like, oh, thanks guys. And we were living together and I packed my bags. Like, he came home and I don't know, we had another fucking argument and then he left. And so I knew that he was out for the night and I packed my bags, and he must have intuitively known that I was packing my bags. And he came home as I was packing my bags and was like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm fucking leaving you. And he's like, are you going to pay the rent? And I fucking did, because I'm a sucker. Paid his motherfucking rent for like another week or so. What a loser. JD Drayton saying, please don't lose faith. You are so worth it. You are more than enough. I know. Exactly. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And finally, I know. And finally, I appreciate that, which is awesome. Lumer is saying, you probably intimidate men who are insecure because you're like a goddess in her power. I mean, Lumer, I don't know. This is what I say, but then like, isn't that a story? You know, like, this is sort of the story I'm telling myself, that I'm intimidating. And I went through a phase of trying to be less intimidating. So I went through a whole big phase of being like, you know, if I was dating a guy, I was all like, you know, I remember on dates, they'd be like, what do you do? And I'd be like, oh, nothing, I just like hang out online and stuff, like nothing. And like, I would never tell someone I'm an engineer, and I would never tell someone like the life that I've led, because most people haven't done the things that I've done. So, you know, I would always just downplay everything. But now I'm just like, hey, I'm fucking amazing. And if you don't get it, then fuck off. Amy's saying, yes, you're a kid in your 20s. Being alone is underrated. For realsies. And this is the place that I'm getting to right now. Like, I love, and I think that's another reason why I'm not, you know, like what most women are like, trying to get into a relationship. I fucking love being single. Like, I love it. I feel like I live my best single life. As you guys know, I usually travel 4 or 5 months of the year. These times, not anymore. And also, like, I'm just always up for an adventure, you know, like if anything's going on, I'm like, cool, I'll go for an adventure. Like, yeah, should we go have some fun? Like, you know, like I was messaging my friend today. She's like, do you want to go to Portugal? I'm like, yeah. And like normally if the world was open, we'd just go to Portugal. So, yeah, I think that's the thing. I really, really love being single, and I'm very, very good at it. And I think that the average woman at my age is more interested. So here's the thing. Okay. This is something I've been thinking a lot about lately. I feel like in a relationship, there are 2 sides to a relationship. There's desire and there's love. So the desire side is freedom, arousal, sexual attraction, eroticism, personal space, adventure, discovery. That's on that side. And then the other side of a connection is love. And that comes from stability, security, dependability, reliability, all of these kind of things. And I believe that's what makes up a relationship, right? You're a blend of this and you're a blend of this. And I think that most women, no, that's a fucking generalization. I think that depending on how you've been raised, you need more, you're more comfortable having more of one and less of the other. And I think most women naturally feel like they need more stability, security, safety, reliability, dependability. Me, because of how I was raised and because of the life that I've created for myself, I need more adventure, personal space, freedom, eroticism, desire, you know, all this good stuff. And I think like getting into a relationship, it's sort of difficult to merge those two, or it's difficult to find someone that wants an equal balance of the two. And that's what I've been kind of like thinking about a lot, because I think in a relationship, like my worst fear is having too much of this and not enough of the adventure and fun. And I think that stops me from getting into a relationship because I'm like, oh my God, is this going to get boring? Like, am I not going to be able to go and have all of my adventures? And then also I think it's difficult to actually attach into a relationship because I think attachment comes from stability, security, safety. I think that's where attachment's formed. And then this is the good stuff that forms a lasting connection, or maybe it's the other way around. This is what I'm trying to figure out. Amy's saying, are you an Aquarius? I'm a Sagittarius, which makes a lot of sense, but I am an Aquarius moon. So here's the thing. I'm Sagittarius, which is this guy, but I'm Taurus rising, which is this guy. Amy's saying being alone is underrated. JG saying you're a boss, babe. Thanks, boss. Lemera saying, yeah, they like to call you crazy to avoid apologizing or being accountable. Hey, I broke off my engagement for cheating. Wow, c'est la vie. You have to date an equal. You attract a lot of engineers? Oh my God, girl. So do I. Not to date. I can't date a fucking engineer, but a lot of them do my programs. Amy saying you love being single so much. I know, me too, Amy. I love it. I'm really good at being single. Hey, Andy, cool. Long time no see. Ooh. Being single is not a headache. Love is rooted in friendship. Lumera saying yes, because you don't really need anyone. You're independent. Well, that's the other thing. Like, I don't really need anyone. And I think that's where, I think my filter's just gone. Let me get one on. I think that the average, and I'm mass generalizing. I think most people who follow me are not the average women, but I think most women need, that more of that security, and I need more of the independence, which is difficult to merge in a connection. No, it's not difficult. That's a fucking story I'm telling myself. I'm sure the man of my dreams will find that great. Amy is saying, Amy's a Virgo sun, Aquarius moon, Libra rising. Aquarius moon, Libra rising. Oh, Virgo sun. Oh my God. Okay. So this is what I want to talk about as well. The Virgo new moon happened last night. Amy, tell me that you did like some kind of ritual. Tell me that you've got something fun going on for the Virgo new moon. So this was a big one, you guys. This was a big moon. And if anyone's feeling a little bit emotional, like I was definitely emotional yesterday, as a result of multiple things. And so this is a super powerful, it's a super moon, it's a super powerful moon. It's going to set in place obviously the next 6 months, but the next few months are very powerful for manifesting. So if you haven't already, I would definitely write down what you want to manifest, and also a great time for letting go. So, is there something like I did a ritual last night, I let go of that connection. Is there something that you need to let go of that is not serving you, or at least it's not serving you in the current iteration? Maybe it's going to come back around, maybe it's going to change, and maybe you're going to change, or maybe it's just not going to serve you for your future. Maybe it's just not what you need moving forward. Just trying to find my live stream on Facey. I don't think it's working. Hey, fashion work, nice to see you. Amy, what are you journaling about? I love that for you. Lumera saying my best friend in Sag and I'm Aquarius. We could have a whole dating convo about engineers. They are detail oriented and I'm an artsy creative. My moon is in Virgo. Can I hide in Australia? Yeah, come on over to Australia. Anyone who's not in Australia, I would get on a plane right now, or a boat, or just fucking swim. Like, get here. Amy sold a huge painting. Oh my God, congrats. And one of my girls, I was just speaking to her today. One of my girls in Freedom Funnels, I just got off the Freedom Funnels weekly call. She sold her very first e-course, which is actually kind of have a little bit of course envy right now, but she sold her very first e-course this week for $997. So she bought my program for $2,000. She sold her first course for $1,000. And the reason I have envy is because it took me years and years and years of mindset work to get myself to a place where I thought that I could sell a high ticket course. And she was just straight off the bat, high ticket course, and made the price of the program back in, she made half the price of the program back in one sale, which oh my gosh, do you not just love that? Oh, I don't think my live stream is working on my other platforms. All right, well, Instagram it is. Yeah. Oh, you're journaling about prosperity and buying land. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Congrats, Amy. And Annie wants to go to Australia and do boxing with kangaroos. I was just boxing with a kangaroo earlier. That's what we do in our lunch breaks. So the last two things that I wanted to say about, missing out on something, getting rejected from a job or a person or an opportunity or whatever it is. Two things. Rejection is projection. So a projection of someone's fears and insecurities projected onto you. And rejection is protection from someone or something that isn't meant to be in our lives anymore, at least not in the current iteration of where your lives are at the moment. So again, I just want to share these things with you because it's what's going on in my life this week, and it's all working out for the greater good. Everything is working out for my highest good. That I know for a fact. Thanks 2020. You totally led me to believe that. Let me know if there are any other questions whilst we're on the call. Oh my God, Lumira's just said, I was talking about you to the marketing consultant for Shark Tank. Were your intuitive ears burning? No. I feel like I should be a judge on Shark Tank though. I reckon I'd be really good at that. Have you seen me on my, oh yeah, you've seen me on these live streams. You should see me on my actual like live streams for Freedom Funnels, when I'm coaching someone in Freedom Funnels, because they jump on and they've just got all the, like everyone's got different questions, and I'm not going to lie, but I'm really good at it. Yeah, everyone's like, yes, I should. I wonder if that's going to be my next TV gig. Maybe that can be it. Everyone's asking what my next TV gig is. I feel like I was actually just thinking of doing something back in the fashion world, but maybe it's something like that, like Shark Tanky sort of. I don't know. Can you guys, Amy's saying you're a genius. Do you know how many, I literally get called that every week. If only. Anyway, thank you, Amy. I appreciate that. If you have ideas for me for a TV show, let me know. Let me know if there's I feel like there's a spin-off show, like a businessy show that I can do, but I can't figure out what it is. JD's asked how my TV show is doing. So the TV show's been picked up by Amazon Prime. So we're going to be on Amazon Prime and Apple TV and Vudu and one others. And it is, it's launching in I don't know, probably now about 4 weeks. And I'm super excited because I feel like that's going to be, I feel like it's going to be good because more people can watch it. So apparently no one even has that FYI channel, at least most people I've spoken to. So we're going to be able to, you and I are going to do a big launch, which is going to be super fun. And yeah, and then I've got the book coming out. Oh my gosh, I finished the book. The book is finished. I've never procrastinated on something so hard in my entire life. I finally finished my book edit today, and I looked at, hey Carla, I looked at my, when they first sent me the first round of edits, and it was 1 month ago. It's taken me 1 month to reply to a graphics edit, which is just appalling. Yeah, I finished my book. I know, it's very exciting. The book's finished. Yay. Super good. It's really good. It's super, super good. It's very, it's just all the things that you need wrapped up into about 120 pages. It's super, super good. So yeah, I'm very proud of myself. And we built the book funnel. I built the book funnel this week, and I built the book sales page this week as well. So it's been a big week for the book. And then next week I'm working on the cover. So you guys are going to vote on the cover next week. I'll get you guys to vote. And I'm going to reveal the name of the book. So you'll get to know the name. And I'm going to reveal, I feel like that could be a whole reveal right there. And I'm going to, what else are we doing next week? The launch, figuring out the launch. And you guys have had awesome ideas for the book launching. So if there are any other awesome ideas for launching a book, let me know if there's anything else that you're like, hey, this would be fun for a book launch. We're going to launch the book in thanks everyone. Everyone's saying congrats. We're going to the book launch is going to coincide with the show launching on Amazon and the vlog. Gabby's madly editing a vlog for me, my Gabby, and my vlog is actually probably better than the show. The vlog is really good. It's really, really funny. So that's all, and we're going to do daily. So there'll be a daily vlog and then a daily book. Maybe I'll do a chapter of the book or something each day and read it out loud or something. I don't know, is that too dry, me reading a business book out loud? Probably. Lumeri saying come to Texas. So, okay, here's the thing. So there's apparently gonna be a Dream Life season 2. Oh, everyone's saying so proud of me. Thanks. And Dream Life season 2, they're looking at storylines for me. So what I'm thinking is that I do a book tour for the storyline on the show. So then, like, on the show, I'd be like going and meeting all my peeps, meeting all you guys. No, I could come to Texas if there's budget, or I could just, pretend like I'm in Texas and you could come there. Gabby's saying literally so much more exciting than the TV show. The vlog is super good, and lots of love. Thank you guys. Fashion Works asking if I could live anywhere in the world, where would you live? So up until about this week, the answer is Bondi, because all 3 of my brothers basically live here. One of my brothers lives right there across the road. My other brother and nephew live about 5 minutes away. And then my middle brother did live here, but he's recently moved down the coast. However, in 12 days' time, my oldest brother and nephew are moving to Portugal, which is going to be a level of heartbreak that I'm already crying about. Like, I've already cried about it today. Like, I feel like it's going to be a very, very bad time for me. Really, really bad time. So, so maybe the place that I want to live in the world is going to be Portugal, because like that guy, little nephew, I genuinely don't know how I'm going to go not having him here. It's going to be tough. But that's okay. I messaged Carl today and I was like, shall we go to Portugal? She's like, let's go. So that's okay. We're going to go to Portugal. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. It's not an issue. Lamira is saying you'd fly you'd get me a ticket to Houston. Yeah, like I'd fly myself around. I don't mind. I'd just love to meet you guys, Renae. JD's saying, when's your next webinar? I missed your last one. Okay. Funny you should ask. I'm actually going to launch the webinar. So I'm going to open doors to Freedom Funnels again. Freedom Funnels is my signature program that helps you build an online business. You build an e-course, you build your asset, like your digital content, and then you sell it through funnels. So I'm going to open Freedom Funnels when the show launches again. So it'll be like book live webinars, and I might even do like a couple of live webinars every week and just do it like whilst the show is live. So that's the plan. Anyway, launch strategy is happening next week. So that's what we're going to be figuring out next week. Carla's saying this is fun. Carla, we do this every week, babes. Like, where have you been? JRG is asking, are you oldest, middle, or youngest? So oldest brother, me, middle brother, youngest brother. We're 18 months apart, and then these guys are 2 years apart, and then there's like a couple of years between us. But me and this guy are like ride or die. We're the ones that do like Burning Man together and ayahuasca and like any of the crazy woo-woo, all of that stuff with me and this guy. And then me and this guy went to engineering together, and this is the guy that's leaving. Not cool. Lumira saying close to, cool bookstores like Barnes & Noble. Yeah. Yep. I reckon that's it. I reckon that's the play for season 2. I reckon it's that. Me touring my book as an author. Carla's asking, should you get some wine? I'm going to be here for like 15 minutes, Carla. Do you have some handy? Like, have you got it? Surely you have wine in that house of yours. Carla is my sister in LA, so I stayed with her after Burning Man whilst I shot the show. I stayed with Carla shooting the show, or just after. Carla and Mr. Man. Let me know if there are any other questions. Fashion Workers asked, what were your businesses that you had and what happened? Have I not told this story on here? I'm going to take a sip. It's a big story. Okay. So my very first business was a fashion design label. Yeah, I miss Burning Man as well. So I used to be a construction worker. I used to be a civil engineer working on a construction site, and I wore steel cap boots. I painted them pink. My nickname was Pinky. Loved playing in the dirt with the boys, but realized that it wasn't my passion, wasn't my dream. So I quit that job. Yeah, I did quit that one, and then started my first business, which was a fashion design brand. I started that label with me on a sewing machine. The first week I made 4 shirts and sold 4 shirts. The next week I made 8 shirts and sold 8 shirts. And 5 years later, I had 120 accounts around the world. We exported to Paris, Tokyo, LA, and South Africa and dressed some of the biggest celebrities of the day, which back in the day was Paris Hilton. And you guys, this was before the internet. So can you imagine doing international sales and influencer marketing and, you know, actually closing sales before the internet existed? So that was my first business. So I used to have to get the yellow pages out, post out a catalog, pick up my landline and call boutiques to see if they wanted to buy my shit. And most of them didn't want to buy my shit. The brand was called ARX and it was the Amber Renae experience or experiment or something like that. So that was amazing. It was great and it was awful at the same time. So that business, I had an offshore manufacturing facility that I set up in Vietnam. Try and speak a little bit slower. In Vietnam, I had that facility and I used to have to spend 3 months twice a year, literally on the sewing room floor, managing them, like cutting, sewing, looking, you know, quality control, all this stuff, because if I wasn't there, they just didn't do my shit, right? So that, you know, so that meant like 4 years of my life, I was 6 months as like a cutting room floor, you know, working in a sweatshop basically in Vietnam. And then eventually, like the last collection that I had, because you have to pay for everything up front. So you have to pay for your fabrics and your patterns and your stock and everything. So we paid about like $70,000 worth of prepaid for this order. That manufacturer went out of business. I wasn't there at the time and I couldn't get back over there. So they kept all of my money, my patterns, my fabric, my stock, everything, which left me with absolutely nothing. I had a nervous breakdown on the side of a highway. I had to go and get hospitalized, found out that I had cancer and I had stomach ulcers and I'd basically worked myself to death. I was on antidepressants and anti-anxieties, and then that kind of triggered like a whole, you know, that was basically the start of me trying to figure out health and wellness, right? Because I remember I was like sitting for my cancer checkup, like smoking a cigarette and like drinking a glass of orange juice. Like, why do I have cancer? But also like I had cancer because I like wasn't looking after myself and hated myself. So that was my first business, and I swore that I would never, ever, ever have another business ever again. And then that lasted about a year. And then I started my second business, which was a fashion styling business. So styling was one-on-one consulting. So this is a freelancing business. So that business started with me. I just moved to a new city. I was moving to Melbourne. I had no contacts, no network, no clue. And I just figured the rest out, like blood, sweat, and tears, right? So 3 years after starting, I had 2 of the best contracts in the country. I was the fashion editor for Women's Health and Fitness magazine and the resident stylist for Southern Cross Oz Stereo, which at the time was our biggest radio and TV network. So I had 2 of these contracts that most stylists would work their entire careers and not get one, and I got 2 of them. So I'd realized that I was really good at building brands. I was really good at creating global brands for both my clients and also both for myself. And I was basically living my best fashion life because I just done Project Runway, shout out Project Runway fans. And I was also landed a job as the TV presenter for Fashion TV, which was my dream TV gig. So basically I was like traveling to fashion weeks, sitting in the fro, like interviewing all of my biggest fans, like people that I idolize, like all of the best designers. Like I idolize designers. So like all the best creators in the country, and, you know, shooting with the best photographers and shooting with the best models, and like literally, you know, living my best #fashion life. And then I always say, like, a funny thing happened. The universe lovingly pushed me out of that existence. So the effects of the global financial crisis finally hit Australia, and all monies for things like fashion styling and TV presenting finally dried up, and I was unemployed and unemployable. I could not get work. I even tried to go back to the construction site, and they wouldn't even give me a job. So I had literally nothing left. And all that I had was this knowledge. I had the knowledge of how to build a successful business. You know, I'd done things in that industry that most people wouldn't do in a lifetime, and I did them in a few years. So I knew that I knew a lot about how to build that business. So my brother, this guy, was like, you need to create an e-course. So I just sat down one day, got out my iPhone and just shot everything that I knew about building an e-course. And at the time I was teaching in a lot of the universities. So I was writing the curriculum. So I was like, cool, This is what I know about actually working as a stylist. So I built that e-course, and I remember, so this is a little learning point on purpose. So I think a lot of people think like, when you're figuring out like what business should I start, or what my purpose is, or I don't know what path I'm on, or I don't know what I should be doing in my life. A lot of people think that there's going to be some big flashing sign that says, this is it. This is what you're meant to be doing over here. Look over here. But it's actually not how it works, at least not in my experience. What actually happens is you just follow your bliss, you follow your passion, you follow what you're motivated or inspired to learn or to know or to educate yourself on. And if you follow that path enough, you'll eventually find something that will turn into your purpose. So what happened with me with this business, I created this e-course and I was really interested in it. Like I was super interested in digital marketing. I was interested in learning about online business. I was interested in learning about, email marketing and Facebook ads and all the things. But I never, there was never a moment in my life where I was like, I just want to be a digital nomad. I just want to work on my laptop. Like I'd never once thought of that. I manifested my fashion life. That's all I ever wanted to do. But I never once thought like, I want to work on a laptop and just work from wherever there's Wi-Fi. It was never a dream of mine. It was never a goal. It was something that the universe basically pushed me into. And I'm so grateful that it did, because now my life is working on a laptop. I work wherever there is Wi-Fi. I used to travel all the time. And this is the first business where I feel fully aligned and fully on purpose and in service, because it's the first time where I'm using both sides of my brain, right? Like this business is very creative and very, you get to use this side, but then you also get to use the analytical side. And like I needed my engineering degree to build the funnels. I needed my engineering degree to read the data analysis. And so this is the first time in my life where I really feel like I'm using all of my gifts and abilities. Plus, my whole job is inspiring and empowering people. Literally, that's my job. Like my job is to show up and to help people step into their light and to step into their purpose and to get them on track. Literally, that's my job. And so every day I get emails from people going, because of you, I'm now living the life that I've always wanted to live because of you. Because of what you've taught me, I've created this life, or I've created this business, or I've created this dream that I've had my whole life because of you. And I get emails and messages like that every day. And it's like, imagine that that's your job. Like imagine if your whole job is just to inspire and educate and empower people. Like I feel like that's insane. So the point that I'm making is, if you're getting pushed out of something now because of COVID or whenever in the future, just remember that it may have served its purpose for your greater good and for your greater growth, which like brings us full circle, which is how we started this conversation, which is things will only stay in your life for as long as you need them to stay, so that you can grow and so that you can get on purpose and so that you can become the person that you're meant to become in this lifetime. And as soon as they've served their purpose, they will step out of your life, and that's great. And that's what we need to remind ourselves of, is that I feel like there is a higher wisdom guiding us. I definitely feel like there's a higher wisdom guiding me and putting me on the path that I'm meant to live. And I would never have chosen this path. If it was up to me, I would still have my fashion label, which fuck me, if I had a fashion label right now, I'd probably shoot myself in the head. And even a fashion styling business, like, oh my God, it was fun, don't get me wrong, but I was dealing with the worst people all day long, literally the worst humans on the planet. So like, I would hate that right now, but I would never have quit that. I would never in a million years have quit that. I would have just turned into one of those bitter old fashioned women that's like, dripping in Chanel and hating life. Now I'm going to be dripping in Chanel and loving life. Do I still have a passion for fashion design? No, I have a passion for fashion, but not for design. Lumiere is saying, wow, you've survived a lot. No wonder you have adventure and not to waste time. I did commercial photography for New York Fashion Week. Oh, I love Jeremy Scott. I love Gucci. I love McQueen. I'm not a huge Hermes fan, but I do love Gucci. So that is my story. That is why I'm able to sit in front of you and to share my wisdom and to share, the knowledge, because I feel like I've been through a lot, and I'm standing, as I mentioned at the start, I'm standing on a pile of heartbreak and disappointment and loss and sadness and rejection that's given me an incredible perspective to allow me to show up to help you have the breakthrough that you're meant to have. So good, right? Carla is saying, should I go to another? I'm going to wrap things up, babes. Can I chat after this? I know I have drinks, but maybe we can chat later. Oh, I'm loving you. JD saying, making me laugh out loud over here about the bitter women in Chanel. So JD and JD, I'm just checking out the comments. I've met a couple of my luminaries, people that I fucking worshipped in the fashion industry, like editors of Vogue that, got bumped out, 20-year edit, like they're Australian. So they're 20-year editors of Vogue Australia. You would know them if you're an Aussie. That got, are you an Aussie? No, I can't remember. That got bumped out of Vogue Australia after a 20-year career. And I've been and watched them speak and they're fucking bitter. And they're all like, the industry and like, there's nothing left for women like me. And I'm like, oh my God. And I just, I've met, like, I can remember 3 of them. And I remember just sitting in the audience because I was so inspired to see them speak. And they like paved the industry before me. And they were just so bitter with the publishing industry and the fashion industry in Australia and all the things. And I just remember thinking, wow, sorry for you. And look, they should listen to the start of this conversation where I teach them how to reframe heartbreak and loss and rejection. Right? All right, on that note, I feel like we're going to wrap things up. Great chat today, guys. Maybe is this what I need? This is what I should be doing, right? I should be bringing you my lessons from the week. Is that what we should be doing here? I've been trying to figure out what the format of this is. I feel like it's got legs, but we're not there yet. And I just can't figure out what it's supposed to be. So if anyone has some insight around what I should be doing with wine time, let me know. I mean, obviously I'm happy to sit here and drink and answer questions for you, but I feel like I should be bringing you my wisdom each week and like sharing with you what I've learned from the week that was. Is that what you want? Limera saying, dripping in Chanel, you love Armani, you like Armani. Once you survive rejection in entertainment, you can survive anything. Yeah, for sure. Exactly. And that's the thing, like when I was on my whole like TV celebrity bit, like I spent like 4 or 5 years, trying to get TV shows and trying to land presenting gigs and trying to, get myself on anything that was on air, which in Australia, there's like 3.5 shows on television. So, not a lot of opportunity. Wine and wisdom from the week. I've been trying to think of more like wind down and like, like funny, like words, funny words or like play on words with wine. I'm going to write that down. Wine and wisdom for the week. Wine and wisdom from the week. Wine and wisdom. Love that for me. You like freestyling. Okay, JD. Love that. Great. Is there anything else you want to add before we wrap things up? I did a bunch of great podcasts this week, you guys. And there's a bunch live from last week. I'm going to post them all in like a group, like a swipey carousel thing on my Instagram soon. So you can watch them all, or listen to them or not, whatever. But there's a couple that are super vulnerable, which I was re-listening to today with my team. And I'm like, oh my God, did I just say that on a webinar? I mean, on a podcast. So, but there's lots of good stuff as well. Beauty is a double-edged sword, but hey, you never had to deal with Harvey Weinstein. So thankfully, gratefully, I never had to deal with, so when I was a civil engineer on a construction site, I don't know if, I'm just trying to think if you would deem it as sexual abuse. I don't know if you would. I mean, it was more so like verbal abuse on a construction site by men. I think that's probably a more accurate description, but it was like sexually, I don't know. I feel like I don't know what I'm saying. I feel like it was sexual nature, but yeah, certainly nothing like the Harvey Weinstein thing. Gratefully, thank you, universe. People love wisdom and vulnerability, yeah, and wine. Mm-hmm. All right, you guys, I'm gonna wrap this up. Bye, babe. Bye, babe. Thanks for hanging out with me. Hope you got a little bit of weekly wisdom. Right here for the Riesling. Thanks, Gav. Right here for the Riesling. What was the other one? Ah, Gabby, you're the funniest person I know. Men can be chauvinistic. It's more chauvinistic than sexual abuse. And you have to prove yourself. Amy, thanks for hanging out with me for the long haul. That's awesome. All right, you guys, have a beautiful weekend. Take care of yourselves. Think about what I said at the start of this and make sure that if there's anything in your life that's causing you, Gabby saying on cloud wine, no wine left behind. You're so good. Dope. Take care of yourselves this weekend. If there's anything that you need to do to reframe the way that you're currently viewing a situation, think about, go back and listen to the start of this chat to hopefully reframe your mindset. Gabby saying everything happens for a reason, right? You're so good. Why didn't I just ask you? Like, seriously. Okay, guys, I'm gonna wrap things up. Gabby, I love you. You're hilarious. Bye.